welcome back to my channel. We have an episode of Love Marriage Huntsville to get into, you guys. I'm gonna try to hurry up and work my way through this because I'm not gonna lie, I need a nap. Okay, I need a session and a nap. That's all I can say right now. Had to wake up at, drop my mom off at 5 o'clock in the morning, so I was tired. But I'm gonna do my best to come and talk to you about Love Marriage Huntsville. Like I said, this episode, Marsuae really is he's just insistent on being stubborn. He's a very stubborn man, and ultimately Tisha and his kids are gonna pay the price. That's just what it is. We know that men, and black men in particular, have an issue with admitting they need help. Marsuae is clearly one of them, and it's quite disheartening. Like, it's annoying, but it's disheartening because to watch it like on TV, it's just like, it's baffling, But let's go ahead and get into the episode, you guys. If you're new to my channel, I appreciate you for tuning in. Everybody else, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, drop it in the comments, let's start crack-a-lacking down in the comments and tell me how you feel about this episode, okay? So, we actually open up with everybody, heading home. They're packing and everything like that, talking about stuff. Tiffany and Lewis basically talking about her moving, on with things with Destiny. And then we see Kimmy and Tisha talking. And basically, Tisha is just really emotional because Kimmy addresses how, Marsuae was explaining how he felt depressed. And, Tisha was explaining, the last 3 years have been really, rough for them. And, with everything going on with social media and just the public, things were a little bit rough. So, Kimmy just said, I'm there for you. They want to leave things in Vegas. Their relationship is kind of like tumultuous. But, Kimmy wants to be there for her because she understands, like she said, how to be, like, what it is to be married to a Scott. Tisha has explained how she had to talk to Marsuae, and she's constantly told him for years how she felt like it's just her and the kids, and she's a single mom. And Kimmy basically told her, when you're with a Scott, there are some things you're just gonna have to sacrifice and compromise on. So it was just kind of annoying because it's like, damn, it's so crazy how, like, as a woman, you just know there are things you're gonna have to sacrifice. Doesn't make it right, but it's just, we're always told the things we have to sacrifice over a man, and it just always seems to be more. We're constantly sacrificing and compromising more in a relationship for a man, and for it to basically be pointless because we see, shit like this happening with, Marsuae and Maurice. But those two hug, and, they're ready to get back to Alabama. The guys, speaking of depression, Martell, Marsuae, and Maurice, they're basically recapping the trip, and, Martell was kind of thanking Marsuae for, being open about his depression, and he was like, man, you talking about everything just kind of made me feel like, damn, I was going through a lot, because Maurice was like, oh, it's been a rough year, rough year for everybody. He was like, yeah, for me, I just really trying to, get over how hard things were after divorce, and, with the kids, maybe myself, I've been going through a little bit of depression, being at home and not wanting to go outside. And it's like, that's all the consequence of decisions you made, Martell. Like, nobody put you in that situation but you. So you guys suffer consequences. So then Marsuae just gets to talking about how, he's basically at the place in his life where he's okay, basically choosing work, choosing making more money, choosing not having time in his day to do whatever, to go fulfill work. Even though you're depressed and you're miserable, you're going to keep doing what he's doing. And Maurice is like, bruh, like, you need to not do that. And, they talk more about it later on in the episode. But Marsuae is just determined and he's basically come to an epiphany of, this is the life I'm going to live. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So everybody's back in Alabama. We see a little segment where Tiffany goes to see Melody. Melody is, like, I guess in her Holt, Melody Holt Incorporation. And she has her God Said Go, little merchandise. People were coming to her on Instagram and stuff like that. And I remember her kind of telling that story about the God Said Go situation. She said that, she gave birth to her last baby and she was just in the bathroom crying and crying. And it was like a release. And she was like, she finally felt, ready to go. Because God was like, pack your shit up and get out of there. And that's what she did. So Tiffany's talking to her about, her relationship with Destiny and how they're going to go from here. And here's some shit that Melody has been doing all season that's really bothering me. Why do you keep apologizing for other people? You did it in the other, first or second episode. She was talking to her friend. I just want to apologize on, behalf of Martell when he was online, talking about you. Why are you apologizing for Martell? He's a grown-ass man. Let him do it himself, even though he barely knows how to apologize, but, that's not for you to do. Who else did she apologize for? She did it again when she was talking to, I think, who was she talking to? She was talking to Destiny, and I think she apologized to Destiny on behalf of somebody. And then here it is, she's going to Tiffany, apologizing to Tiffany on behalf of Destiny. I just really want to say sorry about Destiny. She said she was gonna, drag you from here to Alabama from, Huntsville, girl. I just, Tiffany, Destiny, you're not gonna drag anybody, are you? And so Tiffany, of course, is like, well, I'm just trying to make sure I am able to, differentiate somebody, just really having an issue with me, or they're just going through a lot of stuff in their life. And Melody just basically kind of said, Destiny's going through a lot. We don't know that, Melody, because Destiny's doing a really good job of keeping her personal life behind closed doors. Now, look, Destiny, you wanted to sign up for a reality TV show. Everybody else is putting their motherfucking business out there. You need to do the same. This is going to be the last season of you being able to get by, skimming by without really revealing information about your life. Now, we all know, allegedly, word on the curb, is that LeBaric, is that his name? LeBaric, Chicken Man Jones, that little chicklet of his might not be his little cheap. It might not be his own little chicklet, if you know what I mean. So, that's why, Destiny ain't really, just out there free willy-nilly talking about her life story. But, yeah, Melody, don't worry about your friend Destiny. She's a grown-ass woman, and we'll see them talking, together, actually, next week's episode. So, stop doing that. But these two, they're basically just talking about getting back from Las Vegas, and Tiffany and Destiny moving on, and Melody having her God Said Go merchandise, flying off the racks. So what happened after that? Who went on a date? Oh, Maurice, Kimmy, and Maurice. Damn it, what's that nigga's name? Maurice, Kimmy, Marceau, Tisha went on a date. That was a nice little table setup that they had. Marceau, you was a little underdressed for the occasion, but nigga will let you slide because you're going through depression right now. But they end up sitting down and, really realizing they need to talk to each other, because what Marceau said at the table was a huge revelation. When somebody reveals that they're depressed and, don't know where to go from here to go up, you take that seriously. So, they're just sitting there talking about, getting back, and, Kimmy addresses Marceau, we're here for you guys, Tisha, once I'm definitely here for you, especially you, Marceau, you revealing that you were going through that depression. And Marceau was like, I said that, yeah, you said that. They're trying to figure out, Marceau, what are you going to do to fix it? Well, nothing right now. What do you mean nothing right now? Well, I'm trying to determine if it's really depression or if it's just symptoms. I'm just trying to, like, diagnose on my own. And Maurice was like, well, that's why you go to a professional. Well, I'm just not going to do that. It's just better for me, to work because I'm just going through a busy time right now. I don't want to have to, he said, I'll, get it when I have free time. Knowing that you're never going to have free time because that's one of the main things you've been complaining about in your life, Marceau, was you don't have any goddamn free time. So, when he was like, oh, I'm just like, it's whatever. Like, I'm not going to check on it. Like, it could be stress or it could just be life situation. So he's feeling like, because right now he's dealing with, trying to complete this one contract. He's like, I'll wait till I get done with this one contract. And if I'm still feeling the same way, then, I'll address it then. And there's like, no, that's not what you do with depression. You don't keep kicking the can down the road. Like, you address it right then and there. And so, Kimmy's like, it's obviously an issue because you've mentioned it, multiple times, and you've said that you've been dealing with it for a year. So how much longer are we supposed to wait for you? Like, you need to talk to somebody. And so Tisha's like, well, as his wife, you would assume he would, come and talk to me first. And so she's like, with Marceau, he didn't even tell me that, he told you guys before I knew. And so she's like, I just wish you would have told me, because then I could ask, is there anything that I can do about it? This fool Marceau said you could listen a little bit more. Excuse me. What do you mean you could listen a little bit more? Like Tisha said, all I do is listen. Marceau, he basically gave an example of, well, Tisha, when I'm talking to you, if I'm explaining something and you're talking to me, you're clearly not hearing what I'm saying. And it's so ironic that you said that. Clearly, as we've seen you do that to Tisha. We've seen you do that to Tisha on multiple occasions on this show. And now all of a sudden you like try to throw that back on her like it's her fault. Like she's doing shit that is contributing to your depression. Now, as a married couple, does your spouse, just because of marriage in general, can it like not help improve your depression situation? Absolutely. But to tell Tisha she should listen more, like, she hasn't gone to work. When we first started Loving Marriage Huntsville, she was staying at home, miserable, taking care of 3 freaking kids because she told you she wanted to get her real estate license, and you basically told her, oh, I thought you were just playing about that. So you're not listening. You're not listening to your wife. Tisha has come to you multiple times, and it's gone in one ear and out the other, Marceau. It's just like, I was just really shocked when he said that. And even Tisha's face kind of went like I could listen more. So, she was like, well, if you're not going to talk to me, you need to talk to a professional. And so, what else? And Kimmy said something about, it could help, sometimes you don't need to talk to your partner because they could be the one, that's the issue. And so Tisha kind of took it as, oh, is Kimmy trying to say that I'm the problem? Now, at first, when she said it, I was not going to lie. I was kind of like, ooh, like, damn, Kimmy, like, are you really trying to blame that on Tisha? Like, that's not cool. But I think it's just kind of, maybe it was just the tone that Kimmy said it that could be, misconstrued. But I do get what she was trying to get at is what I mean. But, Tisha was asking a good question, though, when she said, well, you need to talk to somebody like Maurice. Like, does he talk to you? And Maurice was like, he don't talk to me. And she's like, we sure ain't talking to me. So the question is, who's consoling you? Oh, we're just getting a little bit too deep into this right now. It's just, we're getting a little deep into the situation. It's not that serious. You guys, I just work a lot. That's why every time a man cheats, every time, 95% of the time when a nigga cheat, he come home and the excuse is, baby, I just been working a lot. I've just been stressed. I think I'm depressed, dealing with a lot of emotional stuff. And, I just didn't know how to come to you. I just didn't know how to talk to you. We just doing with so much with the kids, and I didn't want to put more stress on you. And it's that bullshit right there, So Tisha, saying like, talk to me, and Marceau not doing it, like, there's more responsibility on Marceau's side because he's not, using Tisha as, that listening ear as, most people expect their spouse to be. But Marceau definitely was acting, stubborn for him to sit there and be like, nah, I'm just not going to fix it. When I get there, when I get done working, we'll see if it's still an issue. It's not a problem to me. And then also it just very much came across as, I don't need to go and check on it, and I don't need to be issue. He's basically not trying to confirm what he already knows, right? He's not trying to go to the office and hear he's depressed, knowing he's depressed. Like, now it creates an issue that he now has to handle. Basically what he's saying. Now I have to handle it. If it gets confirmed that it's depression, now I have to handle it as depression. So he just wants to go on in life, act like ain't nothing wrong with him. But Marceau, you can't do that. And a lot of men do what Marceau is doing. And like Tisha said, it doesn't just affect you. It affects her, which ultimately affects the kids. A depressed man, to me, is way more dangerous than a depressed wife. And a mom who's depressed, who's miserable, it's already, unfortunate enough because most, parents, they take what they're dealing with in life out on their kids. Their kids suffer the consequences of that. But when it's a male that's depressed, and especially a narcissistic male who feels like he's the leader of the household, when they become depressed and emotionally, have been dealing with emotional turmoil, they become emotionally abusive, physically abusive, mentally abusive. And so it's like a chain of events. Now it's not just, it's like a carry-on events of like the wife now dealing with that, and then the kids seeing, abusive behavior. So to me, can you kind of get what I'm saying? Like how dangerous it is, watching a man who can't, deal with his ego being bruised and dealing with, emotional baggage that he's not, prepared to handle. It's dangerous. But, he's like, I'm just going to deal with it down the line. And so Tisha's like, we're not going to do that. She's like, because that's why my aunt's not here. My aunt, felt a pain in her chest and she never went to the doctor. She kept putting it off. And now she's not here. It spread and ultimately killed her. Marceau, was rubbing her back. And so basically Maurice was like, because Marceau was like, I just work, and it just kind of feels like if I don't do this, then I'm missing out on this. Like, he feels like if he misses a day of work, like, he can't catch up on that. Like, that's money lost. He's like, I grew up poor, and he never wants to deal with that. And so Maurice was like, we grew up poor. So how about this? Let's go to, the therapist together and let's get it checked out. No, I'm not going to do that. No, I don't feel like doing that. It's Marceau, what do you... And this is where Tisha needs to realize, like, this is where you put your foot down. This is where you tell your husband, you need to get your shit fixed because I don't deserve to deal with the collateral damage of you not handling your emotional baggage, right? And our kids dealing with you not handling your emotional baggage. So because I'm thinking about me and them, you make sure to get your shit fixed, or, there's going to be a change in our relationship. Like, you ain't going to be getting no coochie. Like, I'm not going to be cooking you no meals no more. Like, there needs to be something taken away so Marceau understands how serious, something like that is. But he's just determined to not handle it, because now if you don't handle it, it makes the shit, like, real. You can keep denying it, But also, too, Marceau, quit using work as an excuse of why you can't hang around your kids. Like, that shit is pissing me off, too. Like, you work a lot, and now you sitting here missing out on your kid's life, and you're telling me you can't take 3 days vacation to go on vacation with your kids? Lies you tell. Moving on, Martell goes to see Lewis. Old fat bat milk dud, Girl Scout cookies, love handle Lewis. Oh, love handle Lewis. He has that little like kids league or whatever. So Martell takes Martell Jr. and he is just super excited. And Martell's talking to him to see if he's gonna take him on. And he threw that first ball, and you can just tell he was just like, he just goes. Like, he was just throwing. He was super excited. And so the sons are working over there with Martell Jr. and, Big Martell, he's over there talking to Lewis. And, he's asking him how he's doing and things like that. He's like, I'm good. He's like, things are kind of crazy since, our trip. How are things going for you? He's like, I'm not going to lie. I need to do better with my anger. He's like, well, have you ever considered going to anger management? And he was like, well, no. He was like, well, why not? He's like, well, I feel like I really got a handle on my anger. Sir, do we need to do a playback like in the college football league? We gonna run the clip. Do we need to run this shit back, Martell? The way you was screaming at Melody, literally, she mentions the word side chick, and nigga, you lose all sense. So he's like, no, I can, it's just. I'm trying to do better with Melody. We haven't got to the point yet where, we can be in the same, room with each other for a while. But, I want to do better. But she knows how to, she knows my trigger points and I know hers. So Lewis is like, well, what are you going to try to do, to fix that? He's like, well, I'm just going to talk to her too. I need to go talk to her already because, I want to talk to her about, the kids. He's like, well, what's going on with the kids? He's like, well, she, the kids have been telling me, like, mommy, she's gone, we're with the babysitter. She works a lot. So I'm feeling like, dang, I don't want no, babysitters raising my kids. I feel like if she go to do something, I should be, first call, first pick. And Lewis was kind of like, how you think that's going to go? This fool had the ungodly nerve to sit there and be like, well, I don't think she'll have a problem with it. Martell, you'd have been married to Melody long enough to know when you bring up that you want primary care, primary custody of your children, that's not going to go well. You already tried that before. But he is determined to go talk to Melody about it. Lewis, he can only give as much advice as he does. But ultimately, he decides to take on little Martell, as a little client, for the yang. So, we finally get to, the big meet, and, Melody comes in, Martell's sitting down, and in the beginning, Martell, you can definitely tell, was trying to keep, keep his composure, keep it nice and trying to keep it cute, and he starts talking to Melody. He just can't help himself, he really can't, but he ends up talking to Melody and was like, discussing, at first, he was talking about, he didn't get straight away to, asking for primary care. He started talking to her about, your schedule, the kids. He always loves throwing, the kids came to me and said, and it's like, bro, your kids is like 8, 5, 3, and 8 months old. They can't be telling you that much shit. But, he's like, the kids be telling me, like, they're at home all the time. And it's like, like 3 babysitters. You told me it's like 3 babysitters watching the kids. And she's like, no, I have 2 babysitters. And that one time my cousin watched them for a couple of hours. And the reason my cousin watched them for a couple of hours is because you were late to pick them up after school. Like, she had to check them. Like, no, the reason she watched them for a couple of hours was because your ass was late. And there's a lot of times where Martell is either saying, ooh, Melody, I can't pick him up, or ooh, Melody, I'm going to be late, right? So Martell, he's like, well, no, I got facts. Melody, we need to talk facts. So he's like, what about your brother? What about your brother? Why is he watching? You got everybody watching the kids except you. You busy. I don't want babysitters raising my kids. And she's like, Martell, what I do on my time, you know, with my kids, that's what I'm gonna do. And so she's like, we went to Atlanta, and yes, Marcus watched the kids. Is there a problem with their uncle watching them? And so he's like pulling up the phone, trying to, you know, scroll through. That's a lie. That's a lie, Melanie. She's like, no. He's like, I like to deal with facts. She's like, well, I like to deal with facts. So how about you shut up and let me tell you? So she's like, what happened is I had a speaking engagement. So I took them to Atlanta, hung out with Marcus, left for 3 hours, came back. We swam. Then I had another event the next day. I did that, came home. We came back home. We hung out with my family. They watched them. Like, Martell, you're mad at family. What? Like, bruh, you're not going to say that other people are raising your kids. Because they watch them for 3 hours, the kids literally see it as, oh, we're hanging out with Uncle Marcus, right? Uncle Marcus is going to watch you while I go out for a couple of hours. That's not raising somebody's kids, my nigga. So, he then goes from, because, you know, things started getting a little crazy. Well, you know, I just had to check because, you know, you like to say this and that, and, you know, you try to make me look a fool out here in the street. She said, when he said that, I was like, or who is it Melody making you look like a fool, or is it you and your dick that's making you look like a fool? It's a convenient, Martell, how all of a sudden you care about how you look, how the family look, you know, how you look. Like, bruh, you did that to yourself. You the one who, like, tarnished you and your family's image. You did that shit. And then he told Lewis earlier in the episode about how he mad the kids know the song, and, you know, she shouldn't be doing that because, you know, you should be talking about, you know, your dad, like, you know, the dad, like, trying to make the dad look bad. You did that, Martell. You did that. You worried about them singing the song, but what you really worried about is them knowing about what you did. That's what it is. You don't want them knowing about what you did. Keep it honest. Keep it real. But back to Melody, he's like, oh, you know, you trying to make me look stupid, and, you know, you try to get me out here in the streets, like, you know, who you with, you know, you going out to hotels, you been doing that, Melody, you been going to hotels, and while I'm watching the kids, And so she like, Martell, you a damn lie. You know, she like, Martell, you a damn lie. When she be doing that shit, I'll be laughing. But he's like, oh, well, you know, Melody, why you disrespecting me now? She said, you've been disrespecting me. She's like, for years. We didn't even try to she's like, we barely made our first anniversary because you were disrespecting me with your reckless mouth. And I was like, damn, y'all didn't make the first year? Okay. So then, they start talking about finally him getting, you know, primary care. Now, what's the real tea? I feel like Martell trying to get primary care because he want that money. He want child support. He trying to get that check because whoever got primary custody is going to get child support. And we all know, Melody already has said that Martell has been lacking in the coinage department. But she's like, Martell, I'm not doing this with you. My kids are fine. I have somebody watching them. I have family watching them. What I do with my kids on my time with me is like none of your business. And she's like, if you want to do this, petition the court. Petition the court. Well, you know, we need to talk about it because, you know, I've been getting the girl's hair done. I've been getting the girl's nail done. She said, man, I've been getting that shit done for a year. She's like, I also been paying for that, paying for their tuition and their school clothes because you didn't have the money, did you? But I got it now. Bitch, you done already admitted, nigga, you broke. You broke, my nigga. I thought you know, Melody needed you. I thought you was the one who built Melody up. It's amazing how men always feel like they the shit when they in a relationship with a woman, but then when the divorce happens, it's like the woman always just seems to prosper. And I think Martell's just not ready to accept that, you know, Melody moved on to bigger and better things without him, you know? But she told that nigga, petition the court. I'm not doing this with you, Martell. If you want the kids, petition the court. Bye. And she rolls on out of there, and that's what the episode ended. So I was like, oh shit. And the next day, boy, when they showed that preview, Mama Wanda, all the mamas is back. Literally, it's gonna be a mama WWE showdown. The Martell mama, she gonna stay defending Martell's old raggedy, no good, community penis having ass. Your son ain't shit, okay? I don't even know what his mama name is, but your son ain't shit. Martell ain't shit. I know that's your son, but you got an ain't shit son. Mama Wanda and then Melody's mama, they start getting to it. So yeah, this is gonna be pretty entertaining the rest of this season. But y'all tell me how you feel about this episode. How do you guys feel about Marceau refusing to go to get therapy? Do you think he's underestimating how him being depressed affects, you know, Tisha and his children? Martell, do you guys think Martell on primary custody for that child support? And then I guess I will catch you guys later. Make sure y'all follow my Instagram and Twitter, and I will, you know, catch y'all in the next video. Deuces.